The Beatles ruled the 60s with a string of revolutionary, innovative, and groundbreaking singles and albums. They went from 4 mop-top teens singing about love to fully mature musicians writing songs about a wide range of topics. At a time when there was no social media to help fans keep track of them, or YouTube or streaming platforms so anyone could listen to their songs anytime and anywhere, the Beatles accumulated such a huge following all over the globe, and their music was passed on from generation to generation. Back then, if rock stars wanted to keep some part of their lives private, they could. Sure, there were paparazzis everywhere, but it wasn't like the internet nowadays where celebrities can be photographed just by anyone. Over the years, they've had their share of rumors, myths, and of course, conspiracy theories. The most famous of which is that Paul McCartney's dead and has been replaced by an imposter. Paul himself made fun of that theory, but for this list, we're not including unverified claims. So here are 5 facts you probably don't know about the Beatles, even if you're a hardcore fan. But first, go ahead and subscribe to our channel for more classic rock videos, and click that bell icon so you'll get first dibs to all our new rock awesome content. Number 5. Paul McCartney wouldn't kill a fly. As a young boy in Liverpool, Paul would catch frogs and kill them, but he didn't do it just because. He was around 12 years old, and at 17, he would be required to undergo a compulsory 18-month enrollment in the military called National Service. He revealed to GQ magazine that he was getting anxious and thinking, "Oh, I can kill anything. What am I going to do? Get a bayonet and hurt someone? I've got to kill someone? Shit, I've got to think about that. How do I do that?" Which is why he killed frogs. But being an outspoken animal rights activist today, he still remembers those days, but I still try and block that, because I'm now a devout animal welfare advocate. Wouldn't kill a fly. He also added that he will rescue flies, but mosquitoes I will kill, because they're attacking me, so, I have my parameters. Number 4. The Beatles were introduced to LSD by a wicked dentist. In the 1960s, it wasn't unusual for rock acts to dabble with LSD. The Beatles are no exception. It was Bob Dylan who introduced them to cannabis, but when it came to LSD, they've got the introduction from a dentist named John Riley, who set up practice in Harley Street, London. He was a popular dentist, and his usual patients included celebrities like the Beatles. George Harrison's wife, Pattie Boyd, admitted that she never felt comfortable with Riley. She said, "No matter what he was going to do in our mouths, he would give us intravenous Valium." All of the Beatles went to him, and we took it for granted that this was what happened. No one would question it. We would go into a deep sleep and wake up not knowing what he had done. I watched him trying to revive George once by slapping his face. It was sinister. He could have been doing anything to us while we were out. In 1965, Riley invited John Lennon, George Harrison, and their partners for dinner in his home. Before the two couples left, they drank coffee which was apparently laced with LSD. John was furious. Both Pattie and George believed the dentist was hoping for an orgy or some sort. At first, Riley insisted that they shouldn't drive while feeling the effects of LSD. As the four were determined to leave, Riley offered to drive, but they all refused. It took 8 hours for it to wear off. Pattie and John's wife Cynthia were frightened about what happened, but George said, "It was if I had never tasted, talked, seen, thought, or heard properly before. For the first time in my whole life, I wasn't conscious of ego." John also loved its effects. It wouldn't be long before he dropped acid regularly. Number 3. The Beatles' fifth member Stewart Sutcliffe left on his own. Before they ended up becoming a quartet, the Beatles started out with 5 members, and Stewart Sutcliffe was their bass player. Along with John, they came up with the name Beatles because they were both fans of Buddy Holly and the Crickets. There were rumors that it was Paul who kicked him out, but according to Paul, "When Stu left, I was the only person who would be the bass player. There were rumors that I tried to get him out, but it wasn't true. He stayed in Hamburg with his girlfriend Astrid, and so we were left without a bass player, and the other two wouldn't do it. Because guitar's groovy, bass isn't. It was the fat boy played bass." Sutcliffe became an artist after, and his artworks were highly acclaimed. Number 2. Paul McCartney painted a portrait of David Bowie. It's no secret that Paul likes to paint too, but one particular standout in his portfolio is the artwork he titled Bowie's Pewing, which he painted in 1990. He would paint in between recording sessions or tours and use it as a means of relaxing. So, When he does take out his brushes, he doesn't have a clear idea what he wants to achieve and would only just let the paint lead the way. And so he didn't exactly have Bowie in mind, but halfway through his work, he realized it resembled the glam rock icon. And as for the title, he admitted to GQ, it just looked like Bowie, and it looked like he was throwing up. There was nothing deeper than that. So what was Bowie's reaction? He told Belgian magazine called Humo that he was also working on a song that he'd like to call McCartney Shits. Number 1. John Lennon tried convincing Paul McCartney to explore trapanning. By definition, trapanning is a surgical procedure wherein a hole is drilled into the skull. This was an ancient practice with several uses, treating health issues like migraines or mental problems, decreasing pressure in the brain, or even releasing evil spirits. Paul revealed to GQ that John became interested in it back in the 60s. He said, "John was a cookie cat. We'd all read about it, you know. This is the 60s, the ancient art of trapanning," which lent a little bit of validity to it, because ancient must be good. And all you have to do is just blow a little hole in your skull and it lets the pressure off. Well, that sounds very sensible. But look, John, you try it and let me know how it goes. Paul said no, obviously. Even so, he didn't think John was 100% serious when he proposed it. How many of these facts did you already know? If you like this video, please give it a thumbs up and don't forget to subscribe and click that bell icon to get more classic rock.